So is ICT necessary for flipped learning? I think the answer is yes, because what it allows the teacher, the professor to do is to time shift themselves. You see, there is probably some element of direct instruction in your class. And the question is always, what should you do with your class time? I argue it's not you standing up and doing the lecture thing. I'm standing here in my own personal classroom here that I teach at here in the US, and I don't lecture. I spend my time with my students working in small groups and one-on-one. But I say I don't lecture. Today I'm going to do a 3-minute lecture because I want to set up an experiment they do. But they're still going to get the deeper dive with a short video on the same topic so they can go deeper. Because it's not as much about the ICT, but it's about what the ICT allows you to do when you are face-to-face with your students. That's number one. I'm going to argue there's 3 things I want to talk about. The second one is I really believe that the ICT gets you organized. I think too many of us, let's be honest, we wing it when we walk into our classroom. I used to walk in and say, all right, today's topic is whatever, and I'd just stand forward and do my thing. And I would ramble on. But when you flip, you've got to get organized. I think what helps us really get organized is to have some kind of a tool. I'm a huge fan of like learning management systems. There's so many of them that are out there. It doesn't ultimately matter which one you do. I'm a fan personally of Brightspace, D2L. But I think the key is that you get yourself organized so that you can, maybe it has to do more with not just being organized, but being organized with intentionality, with purpose. It gives you more of a direction and a purpose. And the third thing I think the ICT allows for, and this isn't really the ICT that you need, but it gives you the opportunity to get to know your students better. And I mean this like with all sincerity, that I believe that what makes good teaching good is relationships. And as you get to know your students, you can personalize and you can differentiate for each of them. So even though I'm talking about ICT, I'm sort of not, aren't I? I'm talking about good teaching, and good teaching is what matters. But the ICT allows for it. If you're stuck at the board, so to speak, doing the lecture thing, you don't have time to get to know your students. You don't have time to interact with and do this stuff. It's what it allows for you to do, as opposed to being the be-all and end-all.
Bueno, como ves, como nos dice John Berman, el papel de la tecnología es subsidiario al papel del docente. Y en el caso del flip learning, pues todavía con más sentido, ¿no? Vamos a utilizar la tecnología precisamente para liberar al docente de todas esas cosas que hacía antes y que ahora, bueno, pues el alumno puede hacer de otras formas. Por lo tanto, en este monográfico lo que pretendemos es recoger evidencias de experiencias que tú hayas podido realizar mediante la utilización de la tecnología para el desarrollo de un flip learning más enriquecido, mejor, más eficiente. Es decir, para hacer una clase al revés lo mejor posible. Tanto si has empleado vídeos como vídeos enriquecidos, como sistemas de realidad aumentada, como hiperdocumentos, podcasts, etcétera, etcétera, etcétera. Bueno, te invitamos a que muestres tu experiencia, lógicamente de una manera científica, recogiendo datos y evidencias que nos permitan decidir y bueno, concluir que el uso de la tecnología ha sido más eficiente y que tu clase al revés y en definitiva la experiencia de aprendizaje de tus estudiantes ha sido muchísimo mejor. Eso es lo que esperamos con este monográfico.
Para el envío de manuscritos deben tener en cuenta que el monográfico posee una serie de descriptores y de líneas temáticas. Algunos de ellos giran en torno a conceptos tales como aula invertida, aprendizaje invertido, metodologías activas, innovación pedagógica, rol del docente o rol del estudiante, entre otros. Para mí es un auténtico placer poder compartir y formar parte de este grupo de editores y de coordinadores del monográfico con profesionales académicos de tan alto reconocido prestigio, tales como John Berman, que es considerado como uno de los pioneros del movimiento Flipped Class, así como con Raúl Santiago, que es profesor titular de la Universidad de La Rioja, autor y coautor de muchísimas publicaciones, todas ellas vinculadas con el tema o con el concepto de aula invertida. Esperamos vuestras contribuciones y esperamos que sea de vuestro interés.